Recording, yeah?
Recording.
Right, guys, welcome back to episode 2 of the Beautiful Struggle podcast. We are in, what do we call this place, Jay? Studio? We're in the Giants cave.
The Giants cave, yeah.
Down the garden.
Down the garden, where he pisses and shits and run the back.
Shh, don't tell everyone. Don't tell the wife.
No.
The wife didn't watch the first episode, so
No, thanks for the support there, Kate.
thank you very much.
Wow.
And Carla.
Carla.
Carla at least got forced to watch 10 minutes.
She got forced to watch it, yeah. She normally gets forced to watch every edit I create, and she's like, it looks the same as the last edit you did. They're just bodybuilders.
So when you start going to the gym and you do a big lift, you go in and say, babe, I lifted 100 kilos on the bench, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Go and put the fucking washing out on the
Yeah,
line.
come on. Pull the weight. Anyway, that was my intro.
Wicked.
It turned into a conversation.
That's perfect. Perfect.
I will say, thank you very much for all the response and
Yep.
the love from the first episode. Obviously, this is going to be something that grows over time.
Yep.
We hope.
Hopefully, yeah.
But I do think that from one podcast on a brand new YouTube channel, the first one hit quite a few people.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think it was. I looked on the way up when I pulled over. Obviously, not when I was driving. 500 and odd views, which
Yeah.
is decent because YouTube is a slow burner.
it
isn't
is.
We know
it
that.
is, yeah.
And I think today, especially after you posted the behind the scenes effort that we did,
Yeah.
I saw the subscribers jump dramatically. I think there was like 40 odd.
Yeah, you know, you're just trying to give me a compliment, aren't you?
That's the only reason you're involved, bro. Just to get it.
No, it's important that, you know, the more people that share it,
Yeah.
subscribe, like, comment, because it's going to be an interactive thing where me and Joe will be checking the comments and getting back to you guys as well.
100%. We will be in that comment section every day. I think there's a few on there to actually reply to, so
Yeah?
me or you can deal with that this weekend. Well, you deal with it because I'm going to be travelling. So
You're travelling. You're
travelling.
going to Tunisia with
Yep,
Oscar.
with Oscar, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think you'll be doing a all-nighter like you did last time. Jay was so excited about the podcast last time. He was up till 2 a.m. editing the thing, and it was on the next day.
And I was actually up. So I got home at 11 after the last one.
Yeah.
I stayed up till 2 editing, and then it was check-in day for me, so I had to be in the gym because obviously everything needs to be the same.
Yeah, yeah.
I was in the gym by 5:30, checking in, and then I trained.
Mate, you set presents now.
Yeah.
The supporters of the channel are expecting.
The bar is set, isn't
This
it?
week gets
So-
recorded on a Thursday. It's live on Friday morning.
I know. So I've got to drive, edit, and then get up for
it'll be fine.
what time? I think I'm meeting Oscar at 6
It'll be fine. No,
tomorrow morning.
no,
so-
we will. I think at some point we'll get a couple in the bank, so we're not.
Yeah, we can drip feed them out then, and I think with this one we'll probably. I doubt I'll get it live tomorrow.
No, definitely not. I'm not.
I'm not
just
sure,
joking.
though.
I'm just joking.
You never know because I didn't plan on the last one being live. You know, within 24 hours of us recording it. So we'll see how I get off tonight because we've just had a coffee. We've got a monster to get into.
I've got my aminos from Mutant.
Yeah, you'll be in bed by
Mate, as soon as you're gone,
your bed.
my last meal is yogurt and whey.
Out
I'm on the sheets.
while I'm driving to Manchester somewhere.
Yeah, you'll be driving, mate. I'll be fast off.
Nice.
By the time you get to Oscars, I probably would have woke up 3 times for a piss. Katie actually said last night, she says, are you taking Tren? I was like, well, obviously not.
Yeah, natty.
And I goes, why? She says, because last night you was red hot. And she says, I can't believe how many times you got up for the toilet. And I says, well, that just shows how much you're fast asleep every time we're in bed, because I've been doing that for 10 years.
Shit.
Literally. Last night was bad, though. You know when you notice you're getting up more than usual?
Yeah.
Last night I was probably up 10 times for a piss.
Any reason, do you think?
I don't know. I drink consistently about the same amount of water. I don't track my water, but I know I drink about the same each day. I'll tell you what I did do last night is I trained late. I trained about 6 p.m. because I finished my session about 7 p.m. So I'm chugging a lot of water during my session.
More water than later on in the day.
And then I had a big meal when I got home. So the training timing was the only different thing. Sometimes if I drop my carbs, then that day one where your body just flushes out a lot of water,
Yeah.
I'll get up for a lot of pisses. I took my Sorpalemto for the old prostate.
Sorpalemto?
I take that every day. I think it's called Saw, like SAW.
Yeah.
And then Palmetto, maybe. Palmetto.
Right.
That's like a natural herb that's good for your prostate health. So,
Is that because you're getting older?
Well, every 3 days. We do it every 3 days. 9 o'clock every third day. Just get Katie to put the purple rubber glove on.
Massage the prostate.
Massage that prostate with a bit of Vaseline on these 2 fingers. Just to check it's in good order.
Whoop.
And I say, just keep it up there for a bit longer.
To the left.
Not deep enough. Only joking. I've never
Jesus.
actually had my prostate checked. And I think that's something that, as men, you should do, innit? I just said in it.
In it.
I had a guy come in the gym the other day, and apologies if you're watching, but after not even every sentence, like even halfway through each sentence was in it.
In it.
In it.
I've picked that up with a few people watching like podcasts and that. There's someone, I'm not sure who it was, but after every, I know who it was. It was Zach Khan.
Oh yeah.
After
Good old
every
Zach.
good old Zach, after every kind of sentence, I think he was saying something like, you know what I'm saying? Like after everything.
Yeah.
And I was like counting it, and I think like every sentence was, you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm
That
saying?
was the same as I spoke to Dan McNabb about this on the Bash Bros podcast.
Yeah,
We're shouting out other podcasts. It's okay.
Hey.
Don't worry about it.
exactly.
They had Daz Ball on there, and he's from Leicester. So there's a certain common saying from Leicester that he was saying after every sentence.
Yeah.
And I think you just pick these things up, don't you, on
You
the
do.
way?
Like where I'm from, most people say but, you know.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like I mean, bro or mate.
Yeah.
It's but.
Yeah, and
I
it's
like
like
that.
quite it's a distinct but.
Oh, it's but.
It's not a but, it's a but.
a but. All right, but. What's happening?
Yeah. It's like when Diashi goes to Kuwait and he starts speaking like half American, half Arab.
Yeah, and he knows he
And
does
then
it. Yeah.
8th Scouser. Well, that's like 1 full and 1/8.
Yeah.
I did get my maths wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say.
He puts on accents for depending on who he's speaking to.
Yeah.
He said that to me before though, when he's got his like American accent as well.
Yeah.
It's quite funny, man. It's
I
quite
remember
funny.
as a kid, I came back from Holland on the bus with all the football team I went with, and everybody was speaking the same. We'd do long pauses between each word, like yes and we spoke like pick the Dutch up, and I was like, you just do, don't you?
He came
Naturally.
back, yeah. When I was DJing in Cardiff a lot, even from like where I live to Cardiff's like 30-minute drive, but there's a massively different accent. And whenever I was like knocking about in Cardiff a lot, I'd come back to Merthyr, and then my friends or my missus or whatever would say, "You're fucking speaking with a twang,"
Yeah.
and it's the Cardiff twang. Just because you're around certain people, you've got to like, your voice automatically kind of goes that way, doesn't it?
I think people from watching around the world are quite fascinated with the UK because it's normal to us.
Yeah.
But in the UK, there's so many different accents.
Yeah,
But from around the world, obviously in America, there's different accents, but they don't vary as much
no,
as we can go down the road and someone have a completely different accent.
especially such a smaller continent
Yeah.
compared to the States. You'd expect the variety to be
Yeah.
bigger. Like even like that Canadian American accent, you hear it a lot more now because obviously there's so
Yeah.
many more Canadians on the scene.
Yeah, but we could go from Nottingham to Derby. There'd be differences. From Derby to Leicester, to Birmingham, to Manchester, to Liverpool, Scotland, Ireland,
Wales, thanks. Bottom of the pile.
Bottom of the pile for sure. Have you had any World Cup games yet?
Yes, we played US of A
Yeah.
on Sunday, I think it might have been,
How did it go?
or Monday. We drew 1-1.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a terrible first half,
Yeah.
and then Bale came back in the second half and had a pen.
I was going to say, how old is he now? 'Cause he's been around for years, hasn't he?
Bale must be mid-30s.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, actually, John Lager, his nickname is, he's out there as photographer for the Welsh FA,
Oh,
and he's
nice.
killing it. So he's out there mingling with the Welsh boys.
Bless. Has Bale still got the long hair?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Me and Carla were looking at him like, it's all like uneven, it's like undercut,
Yeah.
and then he's got it up, and then
Right,
in a
yeah,
top
yeah.
knot, like F, and it's just all uneven. Yeah, it's a strange one.
Come on, Bale. How much you on?
He's not the most handsome of any either, is he?
Well, he's Welsh, isn't he? Joking.
Get that one in.
Joking.
Slide that in.
Yeah, as you can tell, my football knowledge isn't up to scratch. I know England won 6-2, I think.
I think someone put a question in. Let me see if I've got it on here. Someone put a question in, and I'm assuming it's to you.
Yeah.
How many goals did you score for Pegasus back in the day? That's got to be you.
Mate, I was flying. That is true, yeah.
Who was that from as well? Peely B5. Do you know him?
Let's have a look at the thing.
The one on the right.
Peely
B5.
B5. I've got to have a. I can't have a closer look.
You can zoom in, I think. I've screenshot the
right,
the
cool.
comment. Yeah.
Peely B5.
Peely B5.
I'm sorry, Peely B5. I don't know who you are. But anyway, Pegasus. What a team.
So was that a local team?
So Pegasus is the Saturday team, which is a local team from Stapleford. Ran by the great Terry McLaughlin. He was a scout for Notts County.
Right.
Oldest football league club. Just put that out there as well, from Nottingham. I think they've probably gone bust a few times, but I think they're still going. The Black and White Magpies are called. Across the Trent from Nottingham Forest, obviously the team I support, or supported as a lad. I don't support football very much anymore. The Tricky Trees, as my Uncle Sean calls them. Anyway, where are we going with this? Pegasus. So, I was a left midfielder.
Yeah.
As a youngster from like, oh God, I think I started playing for them like 10, maybe 10, 11, 12. And we did really well. We won everything. And I scored a lot of goals because I had a good left peg on me.
Big head.
So I had a good shot. And then obviously I was tall, so I went up for the corners, scored a lot of headers. But then as I got older and people got a bit quicker, I was not the fastest. So I got demoted really from a left winger to a centre-back because of the height.
Yeah.
And that's it. I was a centre-back stroke sweeper. I like to hang back and clear things up.
Lazy.
Yeah. But I did score quite a few goals, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning.
Yeah, Pegasus.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's not me.
What a team.
I played football till I was probably like 12.
Yeah.
And I played for like one team for a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
my football career, that was it. Played a bit of rugby, obviously.
Yeah.
The national sport of Wales.
Yes.
But as we said in the last episode, then basketball stepped in.
Yeah.
So that's where I went with that. What's the plan for this episode then? Because obviously we've done our introduction episode.
Yep.
I've got a few topics
Yeah.
that we could touch on.
I got a good one as well that someone asked for sure.
For some questions. Yeah. Sweet. Before we get into it, you've had your open day at the gym.
Yes.
You're taking the Giant Slayer to the next level by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's exciting times because obviously in 2020 we closed the gym to the public, and at that time it was a commercial entity. Anybody could come. I think the gym was 25 or 30 quid a month. With that, there was a lot of stress. There was a lot of outgoings. Like staff costs were crazy. 35 grand a year was a staff bill.
Jesus.
So that's a massive overhead.
Yeah.
And finding good staff is very, very hard. Any small business owner would know that. The two staff that we did end up with for the last few years are actually very good, and we was very lucky to have them. So if Leon or Chris watch this, big shout out.
Yep.
Not
Shout out, boys.
So this time I wanted to open it up as a completely different thing. I didn't want the stress of all, hundreds of people coming to the gym. Mm-hmm. Not just because that I wanted the right people in the gym and didn't want the stress of loads of people, but obviously with me competing, one of the reasons for closing the gym in the first place was to have a level of privacy where I could just kind of zone out and concentrate on the job in hand, because people don't associate training with it being your job.
Yeah.
And I don't expect them to, but it is. So I always use the comparison. If you've got an office job and you're working at the computer, I'm not going to come over to you and ask you stupid questions while you're on your computer and bother you while you're working.
Yeah.
But, people don't look at training like that. So the social person coming into the gym and me as an owner, I was kind of between a rock and a hard place of being a professional bodybuilder and being the nice guy, the gym owner, trying to promote a business. So this semi-private model that I'm going to open it up as from January, 50 max members, is going to allow me to kind of handpick people to come and train at the gym. I'm also going to price people out because it's not going to be 30, 40 quid a month. Mm-hmm. So people who want that commercial price level are going to go to a commercial gym. And the serious people that take the bodybuilding seriously, whether they compete or not, or just have good goals, because not everyone competes. Obviously, I coach a lot of athletes that don't compete but are very serious about what they do and chase after the goals. I think they will value the service, the environment, the atmosphere.
100%. Yeah.
All the kit that's coming. I mean, I said to you before the podcast, I just spent another $8,000 on a Watson cable stack, crossover, with a lat pull down and a row. And the thing that sold it to me is I used the same one in Chris Bailey's studio in Nottingham.
All right, yeah, that's it, that one. Yeah.
And the seats are proper Italian leather, real, and the hide is cut and sewn to look like a Bentley car seat.
It looks so nice, doesn't it?
Yes, it's red and black, like diamond checkered.
I remember I seen Bailey's studio the first time after he like refurbed it or whatever, and it was like, this is different. Like
that gym opening or gym birthday we went to in Cheshire, your mate,
Oh yeah,
Ollie,
yeah.
he obviously had the Panatta stuff there. So I got speaking to the Panatta rep. We've ordered $8,000 worth of Panatta kit that's coming April, and this was after we'd spent, 80k on Prime and all sorts of other stuff. So I'm investing a lot of money into this. It's kind of my baby, and I was proud to buy the gym back in 2016. But I think this is what I always envisioned, kind of owning. Somewhere that you could be proud of, just like a home.
Yeah.
How many houses have you lived in that you thought, I know this isn't the house I see myself living in forever.
Yeah.
So this is like the gym now. It's like the dream home of the gyms.
Of the gyms.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the way you're doing it as well is that obviously because you're hand picking the people,
Yeah.
those people it's going to create that really, really cool fucking bodybuilding environment. Plus, they're going to respect the kit.
Exactly.
Because I've got a couple of gyms down by me. Luckily, I've got like 3 gyms that are amazing, and they're spending money, they're reinvesting.
Yeah.
But like the one, which is my regular gym, Planet Fitness Tredegar, we've got a lot of regular people that go there before work or whatever, just have sessions, and you see the way they're kind of handling the kit.
Yeah.
And it's like, and because obviously we are passionate about it, you feel like you need to go onto them and say, look, don't slam the cables down like that, because it's going to fuck it up for everyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's only so many times you can hear the bang of the cables before you have to fucking say something.
Yeah.
And then you come across as a dick, where you're just like trying to look after the kit, but you're going to have a facility that is going to be respected. And
Hopefully.
I think so, mate.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be looking to get a few names down as well in the future.
Yeah, when all the kit arrives, because obviously it's all staggered because of delivery times, especially the Prime stuff. That's crazy. Like, could be 8 to 10 months.
It's mad, that, isn't it?
Minimum.
Mad.
Yeah. So I mean, I was speaking to somebody who knows Dean White.
Yeah.
I can't remember who I was speaking to now. Might have been the guy from Watson who I was speaking to yesterday.
Yeah.
He said Dean White was promised Prime kit 2 months lead time. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he's been waiting nearly a year.
Dean actually texted me on the way up because I'm doing a promo video for the Falcon gym.
Right, yeah.
And his Prime kit is coming on the 29th of November, which I think is like a year or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we shot a few weeks back, and I did loads of cool stuff to get a promo video done.
Yeah.
And then I was going to go back down.
Yeah.
So I was like, just let me know when the Prime stuff is in, and I'll just reshoot everything, and the Prime kit's in there then. So I think we're going to do that at the end of the month, beginning of December. So yeah, the wait times on that. I think we've got a load of Prime Fitness coming to Planet Fitness down my way as well, because he's just had a load of the Panatta, the Jim Leco.
Yeah.
He's already got Nautilus and Atlantis down there as well. But yeah, that Prime waiting list is
It's mad.
ridiculous.
It's like they've got one person making it.
Yeah.
I mean, where's all the elves? They've all gone to Santa's Grotto now, so it's gone back 4 months.
That's why. So anyone who orders Prime now is probably going to get it next summer, if not more, later.
Wouldn't it be amazing? That's like the aim, really, for life, isn't it? To have a business or to have something that people want that much, they're prepared to wait for it that long.
Yeah.
That's like, you know where you made it.
That's goals, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Treat people like shit.
Turnaround time on my videos is 6 months.
Oh, mate.
Mind you, I'm going to say this because I don't mind, because Anth is my mate, but I filmed for Anth in the depths of this fucking prep.
Yeah, yeah.
He had some like money to like get spent on content, so he was like, just come up for the weekend and we'll film a shitload of content. So I flew up with Dan McNabb. We filmed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, flew back.
Yeah.
And I've literally 2 weeks ago delivered the video.
Really?
Honestly, but he wasn't pressing me for it because he's got plans for the content, so he's not
yeah.
like releasing it anyway. But he just gave me a nudge and he was like, "Oh, any chance of that content?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll get on it straight away."
Yeah.
So that was probably March,
Wow.
April time that I think it was March. March I filmed that.
So what do you do then? I'm just imagining now, like all these folders of memory cards or something. Is that where you've got like
Yeah.
hundreds of memory cards?
Well, they're all stored on my external hard drives
Right.
in folders. So
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
I've got Anth Bale's
Yeah.
filming weekend,
Yeah.
and then I've split them in like categorically into like legs, chest,
Yeah.
or whatever they trained, and then within those folders, then I've got footage and images.
Yeah.
So then all the footage is in there, images are in there. So it's organised chaos.
Do you ever get scared of losing the hard drive or
Every day.
going wrong with it?
Every day.
Yeah.
And I've done it a couple of times.
Really?
Hence why I've got to go back down to Dean's gym to film the Prime stuff.
Oh, shit.
Because it worked out well, because his gym footage was in the same folder as the Hostile content.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And I edited the Hostile stuff.
Yeah.
They released it. Everything was done. I was like, sweet, make some room for more content. Delete the folder. Right, let's get Dean's video done. Folder's deleted.
No.
I was like, Dean, mate, sorry. Look, he's cool with it anyway, so I'll just go back down.
How long is he staying in Texas for? Is he there till Olympia or is he
Yeah,
coming back?
till the Olympia. I think they got like some big mansion or Airbnb. I think they're
Yeah.
all staying in,
Nice.
training together, obviously with Hunter, and then they get up to Vegas 2 weeks out, I think.
Yeah.
And then I think he spends a few days in Vegas with his missus and that, and then he flies back.
Yeah. It's got to be some experience, hasn't it? Going from, being a very good amateur to getting your pro card,
He's had a
to winning
stormer.
your pro show.
Stormer.
Yeah,
And it's good to see, because Dean was actually one of the first people I ever shot.
really.
Yeah, when I first kind of started dabbling with Magic Eye,
Yeah,
he came down to Wales to train with the Gelsies.
yeah, yeah.
Do you remember Rashane Bodybag? Did you ever know Rashane Bodybag?
No.
That was his nickname, Bodybag,
Right.
on the amateur scene. And Guy Harding,
I remember Guy, yeah.
So those guys came down to Wales, and yeah, there was one of the first. So I've known Dean for a long time, so
Right.
we've kind of seen each other come up, and everyone
Yeah.
used to say then, like, he's
Yeah.
special, like he's special.
He's got a very, very good physique, very
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah,
So it would be very interesting to see what he does in the 2-on-2. I know he's got a very good chance of, doing well for himself, making a mark.
yeah,
There's some insane guys in the 2-on-2.
yes, mad.
I went to watch the Olympia in 2015, so it'd be good to go back this year and watch it. That was the only time I've been to watch it. And I remember thinking the 2-on-2 guys, they brought it with condition, and that was actually, for me, a more enjoyable show to watch
The 2-on-2, yeah.
instead of the Open, yeah.
Flex was in there then, was he?
Yeah.
yeah.
Because in the Open, you had the strength in depth wasn't there, which is going to be different this year, obviously. But
Massive,
2-on-2 guys came out, and each one was like peeled to the bone and just, crazy. So it's going to be good.
So you're going to the Olympia, yeah? I'm not,
Yes,
unfortunately. Sore subject.
Well, Phil had let you down, didn't he? He should have had you. He should have had
No,
you
we were.
recorded.
It's one of those. It's like this is the fourth time that Olympia was on the cards for me.
Yeah,
The thing that the pandemic thing that took over the world
yeah.
kind of stopped me going the once, and then the other times it's just fallen through.
Don't worry, I'll get Fuad for you when I'm there.
Yeah,
I'll be like,
just
like
give him a headlock.
Jay said,
He's smaller now. Isn't
this
he?
is from Wales.
This is from Wales. Yeah. Oh man.
Now I'm looking forward to it. We're going Tuesday to Tuesday, and obviously the show is Friday, Saturday. Mm-hmm. But I'll probably just go Saturday night because I know the pre-judging is where it's all like, supposedly settled.
Yeah.
But the Saturday night show, the finals, that's where you get all the atmosphere,
Yeah.
all the bright lights. So I'll just go to that, and then it frees me up on the Friday night to probably go for some food with the missus.
Yeah. Are you? So you've got like 3 days or 2 days afterwards?
Yeah,
Before
we're
you
going
come home?
Tuesday to Tuesday, so we've got the Sunday, Monday, and then we fly back Tuesday. Because luckily, I found out the other day that the expo is only Friday, Saturday,
Oh, nice.
which is perfect. This is like another point as well. Like some expos are 3 days, and it's just overkill.
It's mad. That Sunday is like
Yeah.
pointless, isn't it?
You either drop the Friday or you drop the Sunday.
Yeah.
Because 3 days, in terms of like your athletes on the stands as well, stand up for 3 days is not fun.
No, I bet.
Not when you're 300 plus pounds as well. But then as a spectator, I think you want to go when it's busy. Friday, people work.
It used to be industry day, didn't it, Friday?
Yeah.
That alarm is not my alarm to get up. That's to press stop and press record on the other camera. So you can keep talking or we can cut this out.
Sub's huge, eh? I'm just chilling. I'll probably need a piss after the next 25 minutes. Although, I don't know. Seems just stopped. I could go for it now, couldn't I?
Problem with being a two-man show. We've got to do all the behind the scenes ourselves.
Yeah.
Got to set it up all ourselves. Maybe one day we have a team.
Maybe we could I'll pay Ella and Harley to.
I was
come
thinking
down
the
here
kids,
and-
yeah.
Come on, 25-minute.
Just man the camera, the
Man
back camera.
Sort it out.
What
I was
was you
going to say a quick one about the Olympia.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So this might be news to a lot of people. It actually will be.
You stepped on stage.
Delivering fresh news. Not just yet. We'll see. Maybe a topic for another episode.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Shit!
Cover the hours. People were saying that Olympia was going to be in Florida next year.
Yeah.
And they were saying about they didn't know when it was going to be December again or whether it was going to be back to September. I've got the information because we got released the calendar of the events on the calendar so far from the IFBB.
Yeah.
Anyone who's an IFBB Pro and signs up to the yearly membership gets sent, they should be on the email list. So I basically got an email regards to the Arnold Classic in March, which is like 14 weeks away, asking if you want to apply. And I was thinking about messaging Miller. I was thinking, Miller, should we just have one more go?
One more crack.
See if we can get to the Arnold Classic. Because if there's like two regrets, one, I didn't make the Olympia, and two, didn't make the Arnold Classic. But that's, like I say, story for another day. The story for today is that on that list of shows was the Olympia next year.
Right.
And it is in November. It's on the 3rd of November, so the first weekend of November, and it is in Las Vegas.
That's an exclusive?
That is exclusive, I'm sure it is.
So I'm going to definitely have to edit this tonight so we can get this up and fucking clickbait the hell out of that.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
probably true, actually.
Exclusive. Sick.
Exclusive. Do you want to know where the 2020 is it
Yeah.
for?
The Giant reveals Olympia date, or
Yeah, probably get sacked.
yeah,
Well, I can't do it. It's on the IFB website. Anyone can look at it. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
No, probably no one's released that though. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything.
I did hear someone say that it's in November though. That might have been Samson's missus yesterday.
Yeah,
I think she said
well.
in conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That works better for me because with my little thing going back and forward with Fuad about going out this year.
Yeah.
So the Olympia's the 18th.
Yep.
Carla's birthday is the 20th.
Ah, right.
So it was a bit of a ball ache. Like, she was obviously cool with me going. But what I said to her was, like, I'll go out.
Yeah.
You fly out the day of the Olympia.
Yeah.
So you get there by the time I'm done. And then we have, like, 2 days in Vegas and then
Yeah.
fly back. Which is obviously a nightmare because Christmas is a couple of days later.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, you go.
Yeah.
Well, if it was happening, you go. Suss it all out and then I'll go again.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm not even going myself now, so...
I don't think it's a good time.
No.
I think they've literally been backed into a corner with what date they could book you this year. And I was thinking for a long time, it's near Christmas, it'll be good, blah, blah, blah. But it ain't a good time,
No,
is
it's
it?
not.
For
It's
the
not.
average person or for most people
Yeah.
with families, and who wants to go away from home at Christmas? Not a lot of people.
No. And then by the time you get back from there, a couple of days then dealing with jet lag and all that shit, and then getting everything ready, straight into Christmas.
Yeah. Plus, it ain't cheap, and Christmas is an expensive time of year for
Well,
everyone.
it's been an expensive year for you, from what you told me off camera,
Well, yeah.
with all the competing. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Segue into competition costs and costs for being a bodybuilder.
Costs for being a bodybuilder, yeah. I don't know what information you want to divulge about, like how much it's cost you, but...
Yeah, what I just said was not all bodybuilding transactions, but a lot of them are related to bodybuilding transactions. So I just told Jay, I've got an Amex credit card. I'm on the Amex Gold hype because I've been doing that much traveling this year. I was listening to some like money things on YouTube, and I was trying to be a bit more savvy with how I spend my money.
Yeah.
And one of the things you can do to collect, obviously, air miles or basic points to spend on anything, you can spend on restaurants, on hotels. What I want to do is upgrade to like business class on flights where I've accumulated enough points, because I've been lucky enough to have business class on 4 flights in my life, and it's amazing. It's a game changer, you know, especially if you're competing. If you can lie down and sleep. I'm not eating the meals when I'm competing, but I ate everything when we came back from Dubai. I live like a king on that plane. And the stress, it helps with the jet lag, it helps with the water retention, and not only that, but it's just a nice, comfortable experience, and you feel like, yeah, I've made it. I mean, you're not made it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a good feeling.
I know. I stepped in there when I was coming back from Toronto, maybe,
Yeah,
or possibly no, Dubai. Yeah, when I was coming back from it was Toronto. When I was coming back from Toronto, because Callum was in there.
Oh yeah.
Because he did say to me, he's like, "Do you want to upgrade?" And I was like, "Nope." Unless you're paying, nope.
Yeah.
So I think I needed charge. I think we were sharing a charger on our laptops, and I was editing, and it was dead. So I was like, "I'm coming to get it." So I popped up, and it was quiet in there. So I was like, "Should I just chill out and fucking see if they clock me?" He's like, "Yeah, just chill." I was there 5 minutes before someone straight on me.
Really?
I was like, "Yeah, I'm just with this guy." I felt like, and then kicked out of business class.
They're on it, mate. Proper, because they want to give that luxury experience to the people that paid for it. And
I know, yeah.
Yeah, you can understand, but it is nice. And once you go back to what we could say cattle class, it is like a fall from grace.
Yeah, I upgraded to premium economy, I think, because I went to the desk and I was like, "Any promotional offers available?" Because I've done a couple of flights this year, so I'm kind of knowing the lingo and that. So I was like, "Oh yeah, any promotional upgrades?" We've got premium economy for £250. I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And I got there and it was like, "Oh, have I just paid £250 for this?" Because it was just a little bit more of a bigger chair, a bit more leg room, and it was more comfortable, but it wasn't what you.
Sometimes you could like suck it up for the extra cost, couldn't you, in the normal class? But obviously what we were saying is the amount of money that I've spent on these credit cards trying to be savvy and collect these points were all really bodybuilding expenses, travel, car hire, food costs, all that kind of stuff related to training. 30k since September, so that's 3 months, so it's 10k a month on these competition and bodybuilding costs. Now obviously as an amateur you're not going to get that much costs, but I know professional bodybuilders this year that have done 2 to 4 shows. They've travelled to countries abroad. Have not got a sponsor or haven't got the support from a sponsor they need to finance their
hobby
job. Still really hobby. If the job ain't paying you, then it's a hobby, right?
It's a glorified hobby.
Yeah. If you're paying to do a job, that ain't a job, because a job's something that pays you.
Yeah.
And that's the message, isn't it? It's expensive, and a lot of people aren't lucky enough, or fortunate enough, or haven't quite got there yet to have a job. As a bodybuilder. So that was the thing, wasn't it? Like, it's so expensive, and people always ask, how did you afford bodybuilding coming up, and how much did you spend, and how did you budget for food and this and that? I don't think there's any way of getting around that. It's an expensive hobby. You need to accept that fact. Your supplement costs might go up as you probably buy more quality supplements.
Yeah.
But my view is now, having the knowledge, I don't know whether I'd buy. I don't want to say any names, but any of these budget protein supermarket places on the internet, I think I'd rather go without.
Yeah, I'd rather just eat food.
I'd rather save my money and put it into food.
Yeah.
As a consumer, as an amateur.
Yeah.
And then get a sponsor. And the next thing we can kind of like lead into is people always ask, "Oh, how do you get sponsored?" and this and that. And people think that sponsored is like glorified.
Yeah.
Or when you turn pro, your life's going to change. It's not.
The sponsored thing, I think, being obviously when you're a certain level, sponsored is great, but then when you see some of these guys going on about sponsorships, when it's not really a sponsorship, you're a sponsored athlete. What they are is ambassadors.
Well, again, if you're paying the sponsor, you're not sponsored.
You're not sponsored, yeah.
You got a discount code, you got to buy your shit at a discount. You ain't sponsored.
You ain't sponsored, man. You ain't sponsored. I've got a relationship with a local supplement shop, Stups. Shout out to Stups. Magic 10 If anyone's
There you
ordering from
go.
it, there we
There you
go.
Just the Mutant Giant,
The Mutant
TMG, TMG20, TMG20.
Dropping discount codes
There you
left,
go.
right, and centre. But they give me an allowance for supplements, so I am sponsored with them. But then with Chosen Few clothing,
Yeah.
I support Chosen Few. I'm not sponsored by them. They've
Yeah.
got a discount code, but I'm not sponsored by them. I support them
Yeah.
because I'm friendly with the guy and stuff. But yeah, when you're getting stuff free, you're getting your travel costs paid for, like
Yeah.
you know, certain things you've had from Mutant. That's when you're sponsored.
Yeah.
Getting sponsored is like you've got to earn that
Yeah.
title, and it's watered down these days, isn't it?
I think these days there's more value in staying unsponsored until you're sponsored.
Yeah,
Or you can affiliate yourself with a brand if you honestly believe in their message and their products. Don't just affiliate yourself with a brand because it's a brand and you
Yeah.
can put it in your Instagram bio.
yeah,
It's something that's seen through now. I mean, I remember back when I was sponsored by Energy Fuel, a company from Nottingham, Valley Lady, lovely people. The company's still going now. I think they kind of come unstuck because their business model was revolving around going to gyms and selling at gyms. They didn't really have an online presence, and I think when they stopped going to Body Power in 2014 or 15, that's when they kind of stopped making progress as a business as such.
Yeah.
In that field and area anyway. I remember at that time we started to take on quite a lot of what they call ambassadors, and then I saw BPI UK.
Oh man,
They went crazy.
that was mad, wasn't it?
They set like new records of like people that were endorsing BPI, and it just made me think. Then this is like just insane. All it's doing is watering down your
Yeah.
brand.
I think every person on social media, because Instagram kind of started getting popping then, didn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone on there had a BPI code. And I'm pretty sure, because Jay Cutler was involved.
Well, he was like sponsored by the American guys, or he was, like you say, was heavily involved at one point.
Yeah, and I think he's had problems like separating himself
Yeah.
from BPI
Yeah.
because obviously he started his line of supplements.
The UK guys did a job.
Not saying any more on the
Oh my
BPI shit,
God,
but
no.
that was mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think anyone that's looking to get sponsored, I actually put a post up on my Instagram today, just talking about some other shit. But like,
Yeah.
it's passion takes you places. So I think if you're passionate about your
Yeah.
craft,
Yeah.
you know, bodybuilding, and a company can see that you're passionate about it and you're supporting, that will lead to sponsorship. But you know, posting some of the shit that you put that we see online is just, you can see that they're crying out for it, and it's like
Yeah.
a company's going to see that as well.
Yeah, don't be a beg.
Don't be big.
Don't beg.
Never
for likes,
beg.
attention. Just be natural in your content.
Yeah,
Like we show people our day to day,
yeah,
and that's all people really want to see. Your mates at the start are gonna say, well, "It's a bit gay, that is." Showing people what you're eating.
at the start they're still fucking saying
Yeah,
it.
but who gives a crap? you
Yeah.
know? That's one thing as bodybuilders, you've got to develop a thick skin because you're doing a sport that you're being judged for, the way
Yeah.
you look.
Yeah, yeah.
So people are going to tell you that you don't look great. You got shit calves or, you know, shit this, shit that. It's not all sunshine and rainbows and positive comments. So
No.
use really your friends and the abuse that they give you as a bit of a buffer
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, just to get you ready
to get you warmed up.
Get you warmed up
you
for-
lubed up for the
for the shit you are going to get.
Mandingo.
Where are we going with this? Wow.
Maybe the thumbnail. The giant gets mandingoed.
While getting his prostate massaged.
Oh god. Oh,
Fucking
God.
hell. I've got a couple of topics that we could
Yes.
chat about. Actually, kind of a similar thing, because you're talking about like the costs competing. Like obviously we talk about what you spent, you know, traveling the world. I did my first ever run at competing this year.
Yeah.
Cost wise for amateur, I think like, 'cause obviously I did 2 shows. One was with the NPC with 2 bros,
Yep.
and then the other one was NABA. And like I did 4 classes at that
Yeah,
2 bro show.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to go into numbers because I support 2 bros
Yeah.
and Ian and that. But obviously I paid for 4 classes because
Yeah.
people were saying to me, i.e. the missus, it's costing how much?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but like the cost that it's gonna cost me that, but this is possibly, because this was going to be possibly my only time competing, once in a lifetime, for the sake of like a couple of £100 to do those 4 classes and have a proper run at it. It was worth it. But it's expensive just at that level as well.
It is. And I don't think, in terms of federations, obviously, like you say, we support Two Bros and we
100%.
support the NPC and IFBB. But, you know, if we're honestly speaking and openly speaking, I think when you first get into bodybuilding, what I would do and what I did do was choose shows that were kind of local. I might have knew someone competing already, or I might have knew one of the promoters. Just somewhere to start where you feel comfortable, and then you can gravitate and move into these other federations.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything bad about any federation in the UK. I think we've got some great ambassadors for the sport of bodybuilding, and I think everyone should like thrive and flourish.
Yeah.
Just like any other business. You know, you go down the high street, there's 5 hairdressers and 4 beauty salons and 3 bakeries. They're all in competition with each other, but we should support one another.
Yeah.
Because
there's enough business for everyone.
Exactly.
If you're looking at it as a business.
Yeah. And these businesses as well, these federations shouldn't be really competing with each other. Because I know as a business owner that once you start focusing on what others are doing, you kind of like damage your own business.
Yeah.
So it's just about each business, each federation doing the best they can, taking the direction they want to take, and like you said, they will all profit from it.
Yeah, because we've seen federations, especially you, because you've been in it a lot longer than me, but we've seen federations come and then go because of certain ways they operate.
Yeah.
You know, I did NABA. Obviously, NABA's not as NABA's like the golden era federation, and I did NABA this year because of where it was. It was in Wales. It fell on the exact day of my birthday. The family could be there, so there's reasons for me obviously choosing that show. But like what you said there about, you know, taking baby steps to, because obviously with the federations that where you start, you're gonna like obviously the pinnacle of competing in the UK is with Two Bros and the NPC, so the levels are going to be set there. So, but yeah, man, I think looking with my notes here, like the approach, professional bodybuilding. We said these podcasts weren't going to all be about bodybuilding, but we spoke for an hour fucking bodybuilding.
We just got a line comment about bodybuilding.
I know. We will get on to other shit, I promise.
Yeah.
But like the approach, and I was thinking about this the other day. The approach to a show day should not be any different between you and me.
No.
And like, obviously, we both want to be the best that we can ever be on that day.
Yeah.
So you know, I was just thinking like of the Olympia. Like NABA was my Olympia this year.
Yeah.
And I put my heart and soul and everything into it. The only difference being is obviously the amount of the amount of muscle and the level of athlete that you're competing against, but the approach is going to be the same, isn't it? And I think
definitely.
Anyone that's competing at an amateur level that isn't putting 110%, 150% into their prep for their show is just cutting themselves short.
Yeah. I think bodybuilding is one of these things, whether it's like our nature and our competitive nature, we don't compete to take part, compete to win. So you enter a competition with that winner's mentality.
Yeah.
And I can't understand anybody with a mindset different, like anybody who wants to take part or enjoy it. And I know that you do it for enjoyment purposes, but you still want to come away with... That's still in your mind when you're training that you're going to win that show, that visualization and
that's what I was just going to
approach.
Kind of touch on when you said that, because when I did those shows this year, like I'll be completely honest, I didn't think I was gonna win. Like I didn't step on those shows, I'm gonna win. That wasn't my mentality. Because it was my first run. I trained, and I fucking still train to win. Like when I'm in my sets and that, I'll train like my life depends on it. But going against certain people, I was like, I just want to look the part up there. I want to, you know, and whatever happens. I know I've put everything into it. Because I think someone made a comment on the day of the NABA show saying, I was like, no, I just want to, I'll do whatever happens. And they're like, no, you can't fucking think like that. You got to fucking.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think that's probably the better way of putting it. Sometimes my missus says I'm not very good with my words, and just listening to you then, I was thinking, right, that's a better way of putting it. It's being the best version of yourself.
yeah,
So you got to tick every box, eat every gram, and not over, not under. Do every bit of cardio. Bodybuilding is something what you got to give everything to, and I can't imagine entering a show knowing that I left something on the table or knowing I cheated on my diet.
Imagine that.
Because even if you win, lose, whatever, going through that whole process of the beautiful struggle of competing,
Yeah.
knowing that you didn't give it everything, knowing that you fucked up this many times and lied to your coach this many times,
Yeah.
and caused shit with your missus this many times, knowing that you did it all really and played people off, mugged people off. I don't know whether that's something you could like sleep with.
No. I mean, if you've done those things in your prep, fine. And if you've been honest about it to your coach or whatever, like I had an issue with peanut butter, bad.
Yeah.
I had to say to Carl, I was like, mate, after the first show, we had a month in between.
Yeah.
And peanut butter suddenly became like chocolate to me. And I was looking at the tub, and there was one or two instances where that spoon was a little bit too deep in the tub of peanut butter. And I was like, Carl, can we take peanut butter out of the equation? And he was like, yeah, what do you want to do? And I was like, just let's go fucking straight, bro. Like, I'll use oils for my fats, because we were doing pro fats at the time. And I was like, yeah, peanut butter got to go. And it just went. So
it's all about the avocado, Jay.
Avocado was in.
Loving the avocado.
Yeah, that was good. But the peanut butter had to go, man.
Have you got the squeezy peanut butter yet?
I have now, yeah.
Hey, that's dangerous.
I think I might have got off you. I think you were Richie O'Donnell scene first, but
dangerous.
Yeah, it goes far though, doesn't it? It goes further.
It does, yeah. You get 20 grams of that and you think the scale's broke.
Yeah. But then,
especially if you squeeze it a little bit, so you got the fine.
But when you're off season, you just keep squeezing, don't you? You're like 60 grams. Let's go.
Is it empty already? Shit.
It's expensive as well, isn't it?
Yes, it can get expensive. What is it like? I think I got some on offer from Sainsbury's, £2.50 a pot, so not too bad.
Not too bad.
But you talk about expense. As bodybuilders, we become like connoisseurs of like coffee, of nut butter.
Yeah.
Certain things, trainers. I got tagged in a Amazon link by a client. Knows I like squeezy peanut butter, and this was like a squeezy nut butter franchise or business. So they're doing almond and cashew and hazelnut and chocolate and all this. But obviously they're not £2.50; they're £9 a pot.
Yeah.
So I said at the time, I was like, I am not even getting into this because that's a dangerous, slippery slope.
Yeah.
I do not want to jump on that slide.
Have you ordered them?
I've not ordered them, no. I'm not, because I've got my peanut butter. It's £2.50. Happy days. We'll leave it at that.
When I first seen the drizzle one, I went on Amazon and I ordered some sort of drizzle peanut butter, which was a bit chocolatey or whatever, and it came and it was disgusting. It was like rock hard. It wasn't coming out. I was like, well, that's fucked it, because I couldn't get hold of it. They don't sell it in like my local Asda, Tesco.
Really?
No. So I think I picked it up from somewhere else first, and now
probably picked it up from like England.
Yeah, across the border. The digs are coming. He's going to have a sudden that drop in followers of all the Welsh people.
That white flag with the red cross. That's the one you mean.
The one with
when you drive across that border and it says, "Welcome to England," you can now get drizzly peanut butter. That might be it.
Twat.
Don't swear.
Jesus. Yeah, so moving on from that, the one thing I wanted to actually talk about, because I was listening to something when I was driving for 5 hours yesterday from fucking Essex, about validation of your peers, like how important that is for just like when you get validation off your peers, how good that is for yourself in terms of like giving you that boost of confidence, and also when you're not getting it.
Yeah,
like how much that can affect you as well. Like I had a thing when coming up with the videography. One of the guys I looked up to a lot was RGL, Gus. Carl coming up. And there was a point where, when Magic Eye started growing, I started working with a lot of Gus's previous clients, and it felt like I was like robbing all his work, and I didn't know him at the time. Since then, we've become really good mates, and then when I had kind of that validation off him, it gave me that massive boost of like, right, because he was where I wanted to be in the industry, and now I kind of sit where he was, I guess, because he's kind of stepped away a little bit. He does coaching now, but that boost of validation, but then also when you're coming up and you're really wanting that validation, but you're not getting it. Like, what did you experience when you were coming up, like, within bodybuilding and that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I spoke about this before in terms of like trying to prove people wrong. Hashtag prove people wrong. Got a new T-shirt out today, by the way. Black Friday sale. Not that it'll be out by then, but
prove people wrong.
I've got a prove them wrong
Prove
T-shirt
them wrong
and jumper. I don't actually own one myself yet. It's in the post.
All right.
But new release.
Do I get because you said that on the podcast? Do I get
I'll have
a
to
slice?
get you one, Jay. Won't I have to get you
I'll get a slice of the profit.
Well, you're a medium.
Fucking mother. The digs, man.
I'm only joking. Right, yeah, back to the question.
Yeah,
So,
validation.
So I guess in the first instance, like taking it right back, you kind of want validation from your friends and your family around you.
Yeah.
Because that initial support system, when we first start this kind of endeavour, it's all new to us and them. And it's something that's very, very different from the normal way of living.
Yeah.
I remember back, I've obviously lost friendships and family members have thought that I was crazy. And I think it's took obviously a long time for them to see that I've turned this into a career.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of friends and family members watching people do it at an amateur level, they probably do just think that you're fucking crazy. And like, what are you doing it for? And to be honest with you, I don't want to sound like a CUNT, but there's a lot of people out there on social media that I look at and think, what are you doing it for? Sometimes. Because they've been competing year after year after year, and it doesn't seem like they're ever progressing their physique or getting on stage better. But somewhere in there, there's their own little reasons for doing that. So you've got to kind of...
You've got to respect their reasons.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, because you do see them, and it looks like they're putting themselves through hell.
And they're
in the
probably,
process.
thinking about it, seeking validation.
Yeah.
In some form, from someone.
Yeah.
From me, as I've climbed the ladder, as I've become a professional, I've definitely noticed, obviously, this year and the last few years, that I've got more validation and people have taken me more seriously.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. I wanted people to take me seriously. Because I knew I was good enough to get a pro card, and I did it. And I know I'm good enough to qualify for Olympia, and I nearly did it, but I didn't. And good point about the validation, because through this year, I got a lot of validation, a lot of positivity from people, and at the time, that was enough. At the time, it was even more than winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the caveat to that is, I still didn't reach the goal. So when that feeling of this has calmed down from the validation, when the validation goes, and now you're just left with your own thoughts, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's in the moment, it means something.
Yeah,
like when somebody says to you, you are this, or well done this, it's a very short-lived feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm still left with, now the validation's gone, all those positive feelings are gone, I'm still left with the disappointment of not achieving the goal.
Another way of saying it is like when the dust settles, innit? When the dust settles, you're left with like with reality, innit?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think bodybuilding is as well. What's the saying that yesterday's news is tomorrow's or today's chip shop paper?
Yeah.
You know, like you say, quickly forgotten, dust settle, on to the next.
And social media now, it moves so fast.
Yeah.
And that goes for everything as well. Like even music, like song. You know, I remember back in the day where an album would drop.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to include other topics other than bodybuilding. When an album would drop that you were anticipating, and then you would listen to that album every single day for weeks and weeks and months. And now, even I find myself, I'll be waiting and anticipating like an album dropping.
Yeah.
And I listen to it on one drive, and then I've moved on the next day.
Yeah.
Because things just move so fast now, and that goes with everything as well. Obviously, with bodybuilding, you know, where we've heard these terrible rumors about people, or you've seen certain things that people have done.
Yeah.
No names mentioned, but you'll see it and you're like, oh fuck, their life is over.
Yeah.
And then a year down the line, these guys are killing it again, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're a name on the scene. So things move fast, man.
I mean, obviously for yourself as well, Jay, you got that validation as a videographer. But from the last podcast, I kind of got that. You felt like you missed the boat and you regretted not taking up bodybuilding earlier.
Yeah.
So I guess because of the amount of effort you put into your diet, your training, you're living the lifestyle alongside this crazy busy job you've got and all the hours you do, you were kind of probably seeking validation for your hard work.
Yeah, massively seeking it.
Yeah.
Massively. Especially just from, like, I'll be straight, mate. Validation from people like yourself,
Yeah.
like people that I'm close to. Like, even now, if I put a set up on my Instagram,
Yeah.
like a reel of a set,
Yeah.
and I get a like off Jordan,
Yeah.
I'm like, the set was legit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if there's no like, he might not have seen it, but
Yeah.
the chances are it's like, yeah, the set was a bit wank.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
You know, even like, you know, just those likes popping up on that, like a set or whatever, being validated, you're like, because you knew it was a fucking grind.
Yeah.
Those little things is just like, oh, right, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. So yeah, validation. And this year, you know, when I won the show, like Jordan shared it on his story.
Yeah.
Little things like that goes a long way, because it's like, oh fuck, like these people that you look up to and are considered at the top
Yeah.
in the game, they don't have to do that.
No.
But you know, I think he put something up like, when your videographer has a crack and then ends up winning Mr. Wales, I think something like that he put up. So it was like, oh, that's fucking sick. So you know, that validation, and you know, we've got another 2 years of trying to get more validation.
So you had like an amazing year, amazing run of shows. Like the achievements, like you said earlier, you wasn't expecting anything. So
No,
the achievements
not at
must
all.
have like far outweighed your wildest ambitions of what was going to happen.
Yeah, my expectations. Yeah,
So in terms of validation, that's more than enough validation you could ever probably want, but it's still not enough.
still not enough. It's never enough, is
So
it?
are we chasing validation? Are we chasing relevance? Because what I've noticed is when you don't compete, you feel as though you're not relevant. You feel like as a bodybuilder you have to be competing to be relevant. I think it's closely linked.
Yeah, yeah,
Because by being relevant we get more validation.
yeah. Ties together.
Yeah.
I'm not seeking, on my part, on my little thing, I'm not seeking more relevance.
Yeah.
I'm seeking more personal validation now,
Yeah.
because I've had the validation that I can step on stage, look the part, do well, walk away with some silverware or whatever. The validation for me now in the next run of competing is I want to just stand next to more people,
Yeah.
stand, you know, next door to more bodies, and do well against more people. That's kind of where I, because the shows, they weren't particularly busy shows. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
the biggest class I was in was 4.
Yeah.
Apart from the overall in the Welsh show, which was 7, I think. So yeah, just like to stand in bigger classes and
Yeah.
and place within that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to tick off now for the next 2 years.
Yeah. Have you got any ideas of shows that you think will offer you that challenge?
Well, I'm going for later shows because
Yeah.
I think I went quite early this year, April,
yeah.
May. So I'm not going super late, but I'm going June, July, before the family holiday in August.
Yeah.
The plan, and then just to do a little bit, like I did 2 shows this year.
Yeah.
I'd like to do 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Carla, you do your first.
Do you think Carla will stomach that one?
Oh, she'll have to, bro.
Thing is, what I'll say to you, and this will be helpful for other people that competed and
Keep talking. I'm going to check camera.
yeah, sure. For
Because
people
of-
that have had relationship issues on prep, because we've all been there. It's always happens. Even me now, like Katie's really, really understanding, and I think I'm better at handling prep and handling a relationship alongside prep. But there's still, you know, days, still times, still arguments. If anything, competing is a learning experience and you get better at it. So don't think that every competition prep will be the same. And don't think that every kind of, well, how's the best way to put it? As you compete, you'll get better at handling prep, which will allow your relationship to feel more normal for a large part of it. So your relationship's going to be better as you both get used to like people prepping. So in Jay's example, this year there's obviously been some hardships and some arguments, and the partner that is not competing often feels a bit forgotten, a bit neglected. I think that you've had that experience now and you know how they feel. You'll enter the next prep with that in mind.
Yeah.
So you'll be better at handling that side of it for her.
Yeah, more conscious of what she's...
And she's got the experience of what you're like, so she'll kind of expect you to be a certain way. So it does get easier. The more you do, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
So people out there worrying, like wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, partners, whatever.
Dogs, cats.
Yeah. Thinking that your partner is an absolute arsehole and you never ever want them to compete again. It definitely does get easier on both parts, I think.
Yeah, I hope so.
But there is another one where if the relationship was diabolical and you really can't see it working through another prep, it might not. You know, the reality is that a lot of relationships fail because of bodybuilding.
Yeah. I mean, if the relationship is diabolical in the first place, then you've got to look at the relationship before even using, or before he or she uses prep as an excuse for the relationship breakdown.
Sometimes if it's a new relationship, it's quite fragile, and obviously relationships are built on doing things together.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding is quite a selfish endeavour and it limits what you can do. As you obviously get more experience with prep and being a bodybuilder, I think you become more relaxed about doing other things.
Yeah.
Because you can do normal things.
You've definitely shown that. I think and I think everyone watching this will agree that you are probably one of the main guys in the industry that has that. The word balance is it's like it's a buzzword, but I think, you know, even though you fucking put everything into your preps, you've still got you can see a human side to you. Yeah. Which I think a lot of other guys, they don't have that. Yeah. They don't have that human side. It's like they go robot mode. Yeah. Which you have to. It depends on what kind of person you are and how you were brought up. And
I think it's a blessing and a curse, because that humility is ultimately what's led me to this point now of saying I want to take some time away because I want to spend time with my family, spend time with my kids, and you know, whatever else, owe them some time back, give them kind of like all of me. But you know, in the cold light of day when the dust has settled, you start thinking about these things and you think, well, is it bodybuilding that makes me who I am? Yeah. Like, is the different person without bodybuilding that's got more time a worse person? Don't know. It's all new.
It's all new. And I think you've got to, this is like, I'm going to kind of give you advice now, because you've got to wear multiple hats at a certain point before you can make that full jump, you know, where you said you've walking away. I think you've got to do something else which is happening for you career-wise, and you've got to wear both hats, you know, like I did with DJing and Magic Eye. I milked DJing until the very end, because obviously I worked Monday to Friday, but then the DJing, I was like DJing Magic Eye until like that Magic Eye Cup glass got fuller, and it was like, right, DJing, if it goes now, I never had the guts to actually walk away from it. The old pandemics came in and closed the clubs, and then I was like, job done. That's me walking away from DJing. So I think you do have to like walk that tightrope and balance it out until whatever you do next.
I'll tell you what my problem is, and you just like kind of hit the nail on the head there. I'm still heavily involved in the sport. I'm still going to expos. I've been to Dubai, I'm going to the Olympia, I'm going to Arnold Classic, I'm going to FIBO, and then there'll be more. So I'm going to shows as well. I'm seeing bodybuilders on stage. I'm seeing them in person.
You're in the mix.
I'm
fully.
a coach. I'm putting people through shows. I'm looking at the check-in pictures. But I don't want to just be a coach. I want to be involved. I want to be doing it. I want other people to be inspired and get that, word we was talking about earlier.
Validation.
The validation.
Keyword. Yeah,
It's a big one.
It's huge, man. It's huge, and I think your brand as the Giant is the biggest. It's the biggest it's been.
Yeah.
As a brand, and building your brand to where it is now is what you've been doing for the last 10 years plus. So I think you got a little bit more to go, mate. Sorry about that, Katie.
Luckily, I have a very supportive wife.
You have. I know you've had conversations, and I know you have got full support there as well, and that's why you're in the position you're in today, because you've got that support.
I would say, and this will link to a question that I've got for later, but this isn't directly linked. It's like kind of a caveat to it, so I can say it now. But I think if I didn't earn money from bodybuilding, if bodybuilding wasn't my job and didn't pay me, I don't think I'd be doing it now. Well, that's a battery, but I've got another battery.
Are you going to take it? Do you want to take the
Yeah,
walk?
I'll take it.
Or do you want me to do it? Do you want me to do it? You sit there, mate.
I was just thinking, oh shit, but no, we've got another battery today.
Fucking pro bodybuilders, they don't want to fucking get off the chair. So
I've got to preserve muscle, Jay.
what about me then? Oh, I got no muscle. Yeah, right.
I'm only joking.
Well, carry on with what you were talking about. I'll switch.
So, yes, if bodybuilding wasn't a job, if it didn't get paid from bodybuilding, would Katie and I still be together, or would I still be competing? The answer is definitely, I don't think I would be competing still.
No, I don't think so either.
No. A big reason for Katie's understanding is that it does provide a lifestyle and a good income. So thank God for that. As an amateur, that's obviously a question I can fire at you.
Yeah, go for it. I'll just speak loud.
When amateurs are doing this and spending all their family's money in some cases on competition fees, on supplements, on food, and then so they're taking the money away from the family, but then they're restricting the family's ability to do normal things, go out for meals, go to the theme park, go on holidays. How long does that, how long can that last?
How long can you keep doing it?
Yeah.
Without.
Because is there
I think it depends on your situation, financially, because there's going to be people out there that have got things they spend money on, like hobbies and shit. There's boys that are massively into football now, and they've gone away to the World Cup and they've spent so many hundreds of pounds to go there because that's their passion. And I think it all depends on the passion that the person's got for that thing, whatever it is. I'm fortunate that I'm able to pursue some sort of bodybuilding journey, endeavour, and it not inflict on anything because of the position I'm in. But I think it all depends on your circumstance. There are going to be people out there that unfortunately can't do it, but then you've got to be brutally honest, you've got to change your situation. If you really want to do it, you've got to change your situation to be able to support it. Because both me and you have built things. It pisses me off when I hear people that say about, they can't get jobs, can't get work.
Oh, God.
And, when I've been doing 3 jobs at one point, at one time, all the same thing. So, you've just got to change your situation to be able to, pay for that, whatever you're doing.
I think anybody, if they was challenged, if it was a life or death situation, that if you don't get a job today, you're going to die, I think everyone would do it.
100%, man.
Because a lot of the time, because you're just going to, thinking it as you were saying that, I can tell, it's not that people can't get a job, it's that people can't get a job that they want to do. But let's be honest, who's doing a job that they want to do? Very few people.
Yeah.
And I am very fortunate to have chose a job that I love to do, and you're the same.
Yeah.
but we're the minority. So suck it up.
But I've been through the mill of, and you have as well, working jobs. I work call centres for fucking most of my working for the man life.
Yeah.
But I was also made redundant 4 times in my working life. And that 4th time was like the nail in the coffin, thinking, do you know what? Fuck this guy deciding on whether I earn money or not.
Yeah.
I've been doing this in the background with Magic Eye. I've been able to build something while working. Yeah. Let's just put all my eggs into this basket and not look for another job and see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's hard, like, because I remember, like, probably after the first 3 or 4, it's probably not that long, 2 months of working full time with Magic Eye. I remember being on the phone to my mother, crying, like, being openly honest, crying, saying, I'm not sure I can do this.
Yeah.
Because I could see the bills and I could see the work that I didn't have.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm going to start PTing. So I started PTing and coaching a little bit.
Yeah. Just
some local guys, just to as a little bit of a buffer to make sure I've got a little bit of income coming in. And then I took on, I think, like 10 one-to-one clients, and then all of a sudden Magic Eye went through the roof, and I was like, fuck. So I was like PT at 5 a.m. for 2 hours, driving 4 hours to fucking film You Boys in Rotherham or whatever, driving back, changing my t-shirt and then going DJing. So it's like, there is work for people. Definitely. You just gotta fucking do it. And if you've got this other passion that you want to do, you want to pursue, whatever that may be, then you've got to make sure the things are in place to fucking fund it.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole message as well, isn't it, Jay? It's not easy. Like, you haven't got where you've got today easy.
No.
But another level to that is, it doesn't get any easier.
It's still not easy.
Because as you get better, your goals get bigger.
Yeah.
You just work harder.
Yeah. You drive further.
At the end of the day, you get better at what you do. You get more efficient at editing. It means you can film more, not less.
Yeah.
So you're doing more work going forward, not less work.
Yeah.
Because you've got more filming, more editing. It never stops, does it?
It never stops. There's a catch to that. It's like, people do say, like, put your rates up.
Yeah.
Then you do less work.
Yeah.
But, and me and going back to Gus, we always have a back and forth conversation about, put your rates up, mate.
Yeah.
Because, you can.
Yeah.
But then I like being active on the scene and working with the guys and, doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that. So we'll just keep doing that until we can't do it anymore, until the fucking engine blows up on the car.
I do think there's a culture in today's society, though, that want things easy and aren't prepared to put in the work. So if people can take any message from this podcast, you've got 2 people here that have worked their arse off and still work their arse off to this day to try and be better. Like, that's the beauty of bodybuilding, the beautiful struggle. There's never perfection. You're always trying to strive for perfection, but perfection really doesn't exist. It's a image in our head that is constantly evolving and changing.
Yeah.
So as we're running towards it, that goalpost is moving away. Like this year, it was my best I've ever looked, but I still see holes in my physique. I still see areas I want to grow. Still see areas that I want to be leaner.
Yeah.
So the hundreds of people that message me and say, you looked amazing. Like, I can't believe how much you've filled out your frame and your inspiration for all these tall people. It's great to hear, but doesn't change the way I feel about my physique and where it needs to be in my head.
Still want more. Still want more. It never stops, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It never stops.
The question I had was linked to this conversation, so I'll say it was.
Yeah, go for
it. John Thick from Canada. John Thick, good name, by the way.
Is he thick?
He competes. He's got a great physique on him. Yeah.
Thicker than a Snicker.
Thicker than John Wick.
Right.
John Thick. There's actually a Ron's gym, because he trains at Ron's gym in Canada. In West Side.
Ron Partlow, yeah?
Yeah.
Just dropping names.
Shout
out to Ron.
Ron Partlow.
Before you get into that, quick story.
Yeah.
When I was at the Arnolds,
I
was walking and Ron and Dusty were behind me talking.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously I listened to the podcast now. Never spoke to them in person.
Yeah.
And I could hear their voices. I was like, that's fucking Ron and Dusty behind me. Do I stop and introduce myself?
Yeah.
I don't want to be a fanboy.
Yeah, yeah.
Or do I just keep walking? I was like, no, stop. So I stopped dead. I just stopped dead, turned around, and they were like, they kind of stopped them in their tracks. So they're both standing there, and I was like, oh, what's happening, guys? And I was like, oh, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Jay. I'm a Magic Guy. And I was like trying to explain who I was. And before I could actually finish my sentence, he was like, oh, yeah, I know who you are, Magic Guy.
Wicked.
Watch all your stuff. And I was like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, you can carry on with the story. Just wanted to...
that is awesome.
It was cool, man.
In the industry that
it
you
was
look
very
up to
cool. It was
recognise
very
you.
cool, yeah.
What's the saying? Talent recognises talent? Or is it something...
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
use that.
It's like I'm sure Jordan says something, or Kobe, or... There's an interview where
Talent
he says...
recognises talent.
Yeah, something like that.
Put on a t-shirt and give me a cut. Job done.
Yeah. So I was saying,
Yeah.
John's question was, now that I do earn money from bodybuilding, so I have a financial reward, is the drive still the same? And I think it is, because I think the drive is like built in you as a person. So I don't try any less hard in a prep. If anything, I try harder, because I feel as though now I'm under even more pressure to perform in a way.
Yeah.
So my drive now is to bring my best, because I don't kind of want to let myself down or anybody else down. And the more years that have passed, the more pressure and strain I put on the family life. Is I don't want to fucking half-ass it.
Yeah.
I don't want to half-ass it for sponsors. There's a lot riding on it in terms of me putting in my 100% and getting on stage 100%, and those people looking at me and thinking he's give it everything he's got. Like, I couldn't imagine doing the cheating on the diet and all this stuff because I wasn't as motivated, because I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. It sends me the opposite way, if anything. So in answer to John's question, I am even more motivated now than I ever have been.
I think I know where John's coming from with this.
Yeah.
It's the Conor McGregor thing. Have you ever
Yeah,
heard the Conor McGregor, like the quote they say about him?
No.
It's hard to
I
get. Yeah, it's hard to get up in the morning when you're waking up in silk sheets.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think obviously we're talking about Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
and I know you're doing well, but like
I'm not balling yet.
yeah. So like when you're at that kind of level, I think
Yeah.
that's when it's like that's when it
Yeah.
becomes fucking hell. Do I really need to do this?
Yeah, I mean, if I had Conor McGregor's money, would I still be competing? Probably not.
No.
But can you say that because he still wants to fight?
He does, but it is. But as a fighter,
Yeah.
I'm a Conor fanboy,
Yeah.
and I'm a casual UFC fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just from following him, I know that obviously that fight
Yeah.
is not what it used to be.
No.
It's not what it used to be, and that's where they say this silk sheet thing.
Yeah. It's like Tyson Fury. In his preps, he drives an old banged up car or something, I'm sure, because he wants to feel like he's in kind of the trenches, and that's why I grow the beard in preps, because I want to feel
Hard.
like I'm running homeless.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you want to feel like you're suffering. Maybe you do want to kind of feel like you're homeless and not living in the warmth of a nice house with a lovely missus and whatever else.
Yeah, Tyson Fury keeps it like proper, like normal life. Puts
Yeah.
the bins out. I think he drives through wherever he lives. I can't remember where he lives. But he drives with his horse and cart and all.
Really?
Yeah, he's
No
full on,
way.
and he's full on. Like, but
Yeah.
but I think it's just you've done too much for your reputation to be like stained by not doing
Yeah.
everything in it.
Oh yeah,
I think with the questions.
yeah,
I had a couple as well. I think for us to, because I know that memory card is just full.
yeah.
So we're back on close-up angles. It's a running theme.
Jay's basically saying my camera's crap. It's not fit for purpose.
You need to buy a new camera for the
Yeah.
podcast. When we start earning money off the subs, we'll buy some. But yeah, just to I know this is like kicking on now because it's 9:15.
Yeah.
Your bedtime's in 15 minutes, and I've got to drive.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
if we finish up with some of the questions,
Yeah, definitely.
obviously you've tapped on one there, so that was
Yeah.
perfect. How many did you have? Did you have many through?
Yeah, I got a few good ones. So you fire one. And
We'll do
I'll,
one each, is it? We'll
yeah.
go back and forth.
Yeah, sound.
So I've got one from Adam James Cooper. Where do you both pull motivation from, and can you give examples of how this looks? I can start that if you want.
Yeah.
I think motivation for me comes from fear. Like, it ties in well because from the bodybuilding side of things, I fear going back to how I was before I turned 30, which we touched on in the last podcast, and that kind of lifestyle and how I looked and how I felt about myself. And what has happened off the back of me achieving my goals, where I've become, ambitious and everything, that's fed off the back of that. So I think my motivation comes from fear of going backwards, and to always keep pushing forwards. And then with the business as well, the fear of being complacent, because I've seen people that I looked up to when I came into the game. There was only a handful of people doing videography then. They become complacent, and at one point they were like there, and they're not really a name. They're still present in the industry, but they're not really pushing the boundaries with content and up in their game. So that's where I get motivation from there. And obviously then you've got the more regular kind of sources of motivation.
Keep talking.
Are you going for a piss?
Go for a piss.
Well, this is the first time I'm going to have to do it on my own.
Hold the fort.
I need you to hold my hand.
For Wales.
For Wales, let's do it for Wales.
For
Wakanda. So yeah, motivation for me would come directly from the normal sources, which would be family and wanting to support them, obviously. And then just not, kind of like what we just talked about as well, like what I've built myself through all the work, putting a stain on that by not doing what I've done for the last couple of years, and what I will continue to do. So that would be my sources of motivation. I'm just reading the question again. I'm pretty sure the big guys will be similar. What would you say your where'd you pull your motivation from?
So
I'm impressed the cameras didn't fall over as you're walking through, mate.
I know.
Size on the guy. You empty?
I'm empty. We need to do like a better one of these podcasts, don't we? How many times Giant going to go for a piss?
How many times can you go for a piss? Yeah.
Standard 2 or 3. We'll try and make 4 next time. I'd be no good on Joe Rogan, would I?
No, definitely not.
Joe, just go in there for a piss. So, one is back to the validation argument or suggestion.
Yeah.
It's getting that validation from my peers, because I am not your typical bodybuilder. I'm not cut from the normal mould. I've always been told that you can't do it. You're not going to be good at it. You won't be making it as a pro, blah, blah. So a big one for me is still chasing that goal of getting to Olympia. And, over and above that is getting that title almost, or validation of being the best tall bodybuilder of all time.
Yeah.
That's like a huge personal goal of mine, and something I feel like I can achieve. So that gets me out of bed in the morning. That motivates me. And anybody with goals and ambitions, they should be big enough to get you out of bed.
Yeah.
And motivate you. So your goals are primarily what's going to motivate you. Another one is providing, providing for your kids, for your family.
Yeah. That's the back end of my answer as well.
Yeah.
I knew kind of that would be the...
Oh, big time. I'm always looking at bigger and better things. And it is a blessing and a curse, because you'll know as well as I do, sometimes it stops you from being present and seeing how much progress you've made, seeing what you've provided for your family, because in your head it's still not enough, because you still want more.
You're still looking at the next thing that you want to get, yeah.
Yeah. But in actual fact, if I sit here and think, and you sit there and think, shit, where do you live? What car do you drive?
Yeah.
Where they go to school? What they're clothed in? How happy they are, they don't want for anything.
You've got to check yourself sometimes.
Yeah, I
did this with Carla a few weeks back. We were just thinking back to our old house, and then the house before that, because we obviously we've been together a while. So we've had 3 houses together, and the situations that we were in those different points when, like, we first got together and I was DJing, she was working behind the bar, and we were paying rent, and I was literally DJing on the Saturday night or whatever to get money to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And if we didn't, we wouldn't be able to pay the rent. So it's always you got to constantly check yourself.
Yeah.
I think, like, step back and how far you've come, and that's with everything as well, with bodybuilding, and that's why it's good to, like, you know, that's a good side of social media, because if you're documenting it, you can always go back and look back at, like, your original pictures.
100%. I mean, I did it the other day. I got some new signs put with the gym for the Giant Slayer, and I stood outside the gym and I've got my sign and Katie's sign next to it. It's two businesses obviously in one gym.
Yeah.
And I looked and I thought, for the first time in 6 years, that wow, I'm proud of owning this gym. It's only 6 years.
And I bet that 6 years was absolutely flown by as well.
Yeah, it's flown.
But look how much you've done and where you are now compared to...
And it took a fucking plastic sign to realise that.
But it's a beautiful plastic sign.
It's a beautiful sign.
Well, that's the old alarm for your camera, mate.
So, why Jay does that, I'm going to find the next question. Okay, this is one. Hulkster42. Good name. He's doing a side chest shot for his Instagram profile. Should you be willing to sacrifice everything to follow your passion? Should you be willing to sacrifice everything to follow your passion? Do you want to start?
Do you want me to start? I'll start.
Go for it, Jay.
Ask me the question again.
Should you be willing to sacrifice everything to follow your passion? So,
depends on if it's going to hurt other people.
Yeah.
If it's only yourself, and by hurt I don't mean like physically hurt.
Yeah.
If it's just yourself that you're risking everything for, then I think
Yeah.
If you've got other people that depend on you, like obviously family,
Yeah.
then I think no. I don't think you should sacrifice everything.
No.
I think you should sacrifice as much as you can possibly do, which is obviously going to take you to a line. There's going to be a line there where you can push it to, where it's still going to be hard, like if you've got people depending on you, but if you go into the red, and other people start getting affected, friends, family, then I think that's a no-go.
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult question to answer, because you would hope that, let's use your partner as an example, like your loved one, the person you live with, the person you've got children with, whatever, whoever you're in a relationship with, you would hope that person supported your passions and hobbies and your direction that you want to take your life. Because to me, if they didn't want to support your passions, then I would think you're not compatible as a couple.
No.
So, use my example. Katie supports me doing my passion as a bodybuilder. If she didn't support me as a bodybuilder, the relationship probably wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
Because she knows that if it was her saying it's me or bodybuilding, like 6 years ago, ultimately I would have chose her, but the relationship probably wouldn't last anyway, because I would have been unhappy.
Yeah.
And I would have been different.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's like one side of it. You're naturally going to follow your passions, but you would hope that the people around you support that. And then it's your job really to find people that do support that. So what are you sacrificing if you're going to follow your passion? Is something that wouldn't work anyway, maybe. I'm trying to think of an example like where you would say no. So if your passion is to live in New Zealand, because for a long time I was thinking about living in America, because it would be good for business and, you know, bodybuilding lifestyle in America, blah blah.
Yeah.
But the sacrifice would be, and it isn't everything, but it's big. Sacrifice would be living in a different country away from my son, so I see my son far less. I've got the option and the ability to move away if I want to, and it was a passion at the time, or, you know, a strong thought, but I decided not to because the sacrifice was too big. And I think there are sacrifices that are too large for us to follow through certain decisions. So, yeah, you're right. You definitely shouldn't sacrifice everything.
That's the red area, isn't it? Like,
There's just things on... It's all about levels and
Yeah.
this and that and A, B and C. It's definitely not a straight, clear answer, is it?
it's not a straight answer, no. Like, speaking from personal experience, like my dad moved away,
Yeah,
like a few years back,
yeah,
down to Cornwall,
yeah,
and because my grandparents were down there, wherever. So he moved away from his family,
yeah,
but at the time, I'm of an age where I've got my own family,
yeah,
and it's not gonna, it's a similar situation where you're moving away.
yeah.
I mean, it's only Cornwall, it's not America, obviously,
yeah.
so it's only a drive. I think I actually saw him more when he was living in Cornwall, because I used to go down visiting.
Yeah.
But, it's a different thing. So, in that instance, yeah, then you can leave things like
Yeah.
that behind.
Mm.
But because of the situation where, obviously, Harley's got younger,
Yeah,
he's not going to be able to, like, deal with it, or, he doesn't need dad round all the time
yeah,
to pick up whoever's the kid that was lying on the bed off the
yeah,
bed
yeah.
in the last episode. So he needs his dad round. So I think that is like the red area where
Yeah.
you can't really sacrifice that. But then doing a little U-turn back to one of the previous conversations we had, it's about you putting things into place that will allow you to sacrifice more
Yeah.
to do your passion.
Yeah.
So
I think along the way as well, if you imagine walking down a corridor and there's doors along the way, there's going to be decisions that you're going to have to make and doors you're going to have to open and walk through or close and walk back.
yeah,
And I'll use myself as an example now. So I've obviously applied for UK Gladiators, Awooga. And me and Katie discussed last night that, speaking out loud and thinking forward, if I was to become a gladiator, then that would mean that my status in the public eye would change immensely.
yeah.
I would be a so-called celebrity, maybe.
Look out.
Yeah. Just being completely honest, like we had this conversation last night that how I'm viewed in the public eye would change a lot,
Yeah.
which would obviously impact your relationship, because you as a person are going to get more attention. You'd be having probably less time in private with your loved one, which is a huge thing. Me and Katie go out to Derby Town Centre now for a meal, and one or two people might come up to me and say, "Oh, Giant, can I have a picture?"
Yeah.
But that's like here. Then it goes to here. And then there's you're going to be around other celebrities, and you're going to be around other women, and you got women throwing yourself at you. So the trust level
It's going to be
goes from here to here as well.
tested.
But that's a decision you can't just say yes or no here before you've experienced anything.
No.
It's something that you're going to have to walk down the corridor and keep opening the doors and decide as you go. Because if it gets too much, and then the situation is you're going to sacrifice everything if you carry on walking through those doors.
Yeah.
But that's down to me how I handle those situations. If we ever come to that point,
As you go in through that corridor.
you got to handle your shit. It's about proving to the other person that these worries are nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
But you don't know unless you fucking go through
No.
the beautiful struggle.
The beautiful struggle, man. I like it.
Oh, shit.
Matt Cook, how have you been? I've been very well. That's his question, yeah.
Matt Cook.
How have you been? Matt 11 Cook, how have you been? I've been well.
I've been good.
Yeah, there we
Very
go.
Good, yeah,
Job
yeah.
done. That was
Bit of a
easy.
Sniffle, but I'm good.
More of a request from Gary sides rather than a question. Can you please reaffirm to not use gear until you can grow no further naturally?
Yeah. I think wouldn't say you shouldn't use gear until you can not grow any more naturally. But I would definitely say you need to give it time to have a great understanding of nutrition, of supplementation, of training, where you're training with correct form and you're training intensely. You got to tick all the freaking boxes before you tick that juice box.
You got to earn your stripes.
Yeah. And you can't put a time on that, really.
No.
And you can't say, I've stopped growing naturally now, so I'm going to start taking juice. It's not as easy as that. But you definitely got to give it time. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Family situation here. So Ella's been asked to go on a date by this 17-year-old boy.
Uh-oh.
I ain't seen a picture, but Katie says, he looks like he's on gear. Like he goes to the gym, he's into his training.
Yeah.
And I've not seen a picture. I'll ask to see the picture because I won't be able to tell.
Does he know the giant is...
He's seen a picture.
Yeah.
So, and I know where he works already. I've got his number. But yeah, there's people like that, genuinely, 16, 17-year-old lads that are taking gear. Like, I wouldn't even dare inject myself at that age. I was quite happy, like, you know, having a girlfriend and playing football.
It's different now, though.
It's very different.
It's different, man.
My son has just got penalised at school. He's been excluded.
Right.
Hope no one from George Spencer School is watching this, or teachers or whatever. I've got to go to school on Monday morning to have a discussion.
Oh, really?
Because he got excluded for what they deem as sexual harassment. And what he did was slapped one of his mates on his arse and then gave him a little tap in the cock. Every time I walk past Cuba, he taps me in the cock.
Same?
Every time. So Cuba's sexually harassing me every time I see him.
Sex pest, Cuba.
No, you know, boys are boys.
Yeah,
lads are lads.
That's what you do, innit? It's like, not what you'd like. It's not what we do, but it's like,
No.
it's kind of just a fucking...
Yeah. I've just been taken completely out of context.
That's like everything now, though. That just summarises everything that's going on in the world at the moment.
There was a point to my story as well. I completely forgot.
And
Because we went
another
from
point.
taking gear at a young age, and you say it's different now. Maybe that was my point. It is different.
We went from taking
These
gear
things-
at young age to touching cocks.
Yeah, these things aren't... Oh, it's just blown out of proportion.
Yeah, it's just
stupid.
different, man. It's just different. But yeah, like you said, you got to earn your stripes. And there's people that have been in the gym twice as long as me that still haven't earned those stripes.
Yeah.
And are nowhere closer to earning them. They're doing the wrong shit, and that's one of the wrong bits they're doing as well.
And you think, how?
I
There's
had
that much knowledge out there now.
I had a conversation to tie on the back of this with an older guy,
Yeah.
60 odd, in the gym. He was asking me some advice on what I think he should do.
Yeah.
Been to the doctors and stuff, and blood pressure, and he wanted something. He wanted me to give him some advice on what he could take that the doctor couldn't pick up.
Yeah.
I was like, why you're 60 odd years old. Why
Yeah,
are you trying to hide something when you've obviously been picked up on blood pressure?
Yeah.
I was like, what you need to do is stop everything you're doing,
Yeah.
go on the treadmill.
Yeah.
That'll help bring your blood pressure down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, why are you doing it? I said, there's no need to do it. So, you know, you spoke about like the 17, 18-year-olds that are doing it, but there's people like twice,
Yeah.
well, not so much twice our age, but a little bit older than us, that are still doing exactly the same thing, really.
Yeah.
So it's just about surrounding yourself with the right people that know about that kind of thing.
I'm sure there are safe ways to administer anabolic steroids, but you got to have the knowledge to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that's not easily acquired these days because people are lazy.
Unfortunately, yeah. Even though it's like a simple search on fucking YouTube or trainbyjp.com.
No
plugs.
No plugs.
No.
Right.
Let's
Should
do
we-
one more each.
One more.
Yeah. And we'll make them quick as well, because I think we've talked for fucking ages.
Yeah, that one. I'm going to answer this one.
You don't answer that one.
It's one relating to gear. Do I answer it or not?
You can, yeah. I'm not sure.
It's about GH and insulin timing. No, I'm not going to answer that. That's been covered on other podcasts before. I don't think this podcast is going to be about discussing gear and cycles and dosages.
Yeah.
Although we will try and help people where we can. I think we're trying to get the message across that there's so much more to this sport
Yeah.
than those things, and people really do need to understand the fundamentals of what goes into this. That bit there is literally the ice on the cake.
Yeah.
And we're not doctors, we're not medical professionals, so
Yeah,
you know, we'll steer around it.
There's plenty more like places you could go for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, we want to keep it more real and raw, which is like the majority of the people that are watching this, real life stuff.
Yeah, big time. And this is a real life question. If you could create a whey flavour, what would you wish for? Or what would you create? I tell you what I did have this morning. I had the vanilla mutant ISO surge.
Plug.
Shameless plug.
The Giant 10, the Mutant Giant 10?
No, TMG, Jay. TMG 20.
TMG 20, 20% off.
For Americans and Canadians, by the way, not European market just yet. Coming in January, watch out. I had my normal shake, which consists of coconut milk, 300ml, ice, about half a glass, about this high. I mean, the ice that high, the glass is that high, so half a glass. Cinnamon, a few sprinkles of salt, just like that. 100 grams of avocado. That's the key. The key ingredient's avocado. And then 80 grams of the vanilla whey. It tasted like vanilla ice cream. That was beautiful. So, I think I would create not a vanilla ice cream flavour, but I love cheesecake.
Yeah.
If I can make a cheesecake flavour, a New York cheesecake, you know, nothing too elaborate,
Yeah.
but a New York cheesecake flavour way, that's what I'd make. But it need to taste like you was eating cheesecake every time you drank it. Because sometimes you get these proteins and it's like, oh, that looks nice. And it tastes nothing.
No,
Nothing like
branding on point, but then the flavours
Yeah.
off. Well, I can't drink whey, so I'm
shit.
out of this
That's
question.
a stupid question for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm on the vegan protein because I've got some sort of intolerance that has just built up, and
You don't have to swear on the podcast,
I
Jay.
know, I apologise, but
I got this one for you then. What does your typical rest day look like?
uh,
Do you get a rest day?
they're all the same. The days are all the same. I used to factor rest days into travel days
Yeah.
when I was filming, which isn't obviously a rest day,
No.
but it is for the average person. I think the average person's rest day would just be not going to the gym,
Yeah.
slightly lower food.
Yeah.
For you, a rest day would be legit rest, wouldn't it? Or would it?
I normally do a bit, I like a coffee shop or two,
Yeah.
a bath. I love a hot bath on a rest day. An off-plan meal. So I'd either cook something at home, order something in, which at the minute tends to be burger and chips over pizza.
Oh, look out.
Different.
Evolving.
2023, Giants changing. or me and Kate will go out to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
So definitely a coffee, hot bath, and an off-plan meal. That's my rest day. And it'll normally be surrounded with some client work, check-ins,
Yeah.
maybe going to the gym and doing odd jobs and putting my pictures up or something, making sure everything's okay.
I'd factor into just a day of editing for me.
Yeah.
My rest day would be slightly later alarm maybe,
Yeah,
and then in the office all day just editing,
yeah,
keeping myself busy off the away from the gym, slightly low food, and that would be it. But or traveling. But then my training days are the same. So
Yeah.
like yesterday I was with Samson in Essex.
Mm.
I got up at 4, trained legs at 5, left the gym at 8:30 or 7:30. Drove 5 hours to Colchester, filmed for 4 hours, drove 5 hours home, watched I'm a Celebrity, and went to bed. So that was a training day, and the rest days look exactly the same minus the
Yeah.
training. Last question to wrap it up.
yes.
I'm not sure if we've answered it. Reflecting back at pinnacle moments of your self-development, not only as a bodybuilder but as a person, what's one of the hardest lessons you had to learn? To the Giant, go for it.
The hardest lessons.
We've got 9 minutes until that camera switches off, so let's get this in.
9 minutes. What's one of the hardest lessons you had to learn? Oh. Talking about self-development first, I've got something I can like speak on for that. And you covered it a little bit earlier. It's when you realise that the only way to really chase down your passions was to work for yourself. Because the game changer for me was in 2016 when I decided to leave the fire service. Because the fire service was a comfortable job with a comfortable salary, loads of time off because you did 4 days on, 4 days off. So you could do your training and all your other shit on the side, but you've hit the ceiling with that salary. You're never going to get paid any more. So for me, I was looked at like a bit of a weirdo for making a jump and a disconnect from something so comfortable, because people do live in this mindset of, I want to be comfortable. Always want to be comfortable. I want to be safe. So the biggest realization for me was that in life and in bodybuilding, to progress, and it's like, it sounds corny, but it's true, you got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you got to chase that uncomfortable feeling away from your comfort zone constantly to keep growing and evolving. I can't really think of anything that, you know, is like a big life lesson as such, because it's been continually growing through the whole journey of, you know, the last 20 years of training from when I was 16 years old. You know, you go through your stage of being a young lad, going out drinking. I was in the police force for 2 years, got arrested because I was still young, going out drinking. I got asked to leave the police force because, again, I was young and getting in bother and whatnot. But all these kind of things are just life lessons. They're character building points of my life that have made me the person I am now, which I think is a half decent person with, you know, good morals and a forward-thinking attitude and an appetite for risk. That's a big one.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people these days, especially in like today's climate, economically, the appetite for risk is very low. And I think if you are one of those people that are scared of doing things and always reserved and holding back, you just ain't going to achieve much in life. Yeah, that's how I leave it.
That's a fucking good answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's all right.
I wish I answered it first now, because I've got to try and follow up with a...
Jay, you can just give us the outro.
Yeah, I'll just do the outro. That's all I'm good for. Nah, I think a similar kind of thing, you know, the risk thing. Because obviously I've left like a solid jobs and stuff in the past.
Yeah.
Well, I got made redundant, but I could have quite easily got back into work that I didn't enjoy. But you know, I chose to risk it for a biscuit as such.
Yeah.
Build the business up. I think hardest lesson that I've had to learn throughout, like, taking DJing into account as well as Magic Eye, is the relationships that you kind of come across throughout different like roles.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of lessons in DJing where you're building relationships, you're networking with people, and that grey area where it's like friend / client or acquaintance or someone that you're working alongside can kind of get blurred in the middle.
Yeah.
So one of the lessons I've learned definitely is like to make sure that trust your instincts on the relationship.
Yeah.
And not kind of just let it develop into other things.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because there's been instances where I've got really, really tight with clients.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, it's kind of gone like that.
Yeah.
And it hurt personally.
Yeah.
You know, it did hurt personally. But then, you know, it's about just learning from that.
Yeah.
Going forward. So, and I've experienced that in both the DJ and Magic Eye.
Yeah. One thing I learnt from Miller, sorry to cut you off, Jay, which I'll take forward for the rest of my life, is business is business.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do discounts. He'll charge you what he charges. He might look after you with price a little bit, but I've had coaches that give me coaching for free.
Yeah.
We've even done trades in the past.
Yeah.
You know, but we have a good understanding for one another, and we're good enough friends to, you know.
There's a clear.
We know
this is that. That is this.
Yeah. But in most people's cases, business is business. And I like to be clear. I like to know where I stand, what I'm paying for, what I'm getting. And it's just so much easier if it's just like you charge what you charge. Or you pay for a service, you get this.
Yeah.
If you start giving out for things for free or doing favours for favours, then the lines become blurred, like you say.
do.
And it gets confusing. It's too much stress.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
And the way how small this world is, that person will be saying, "Well, he did it for this, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did that for me." And
yeah,
right, so why can't you do that for me then? I thought we would. And then it's like, oh fuck.
yeah. You get wrapped up.
You get wrapped up, man. That's it. Sorry if I've offended anyone with my vape.
Ah, mate, it smells nice.
I didn't even ask if I was allowed to smoke in the studio.
It's masking the smell of my farts, I think, so it's all good.
Man.
Nice cherry vape. Guys, thank you very much. Episode 2 of The Beautiful Struggle. We are out. Comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends. And I'll be back another time with this Welsh deviant after his trip to
I
Tunisia.
thought he was going to say diva then.
Well, that too.
Peace.